England versus Poland. Dan Stockley taking on Krystov Prokopczuk. And Stockley will be the younger fighter here, the taller fighter. And interestingly, the former bodybuilder will be the heavier fighter, Dean.
He's got to make sure that he's worked on the correct energy systems for fighting. He's got to look at muscular endurance, a little bit different from the bodybuilding background. And is that going to play a part here? I believe if Prokopczuk can pull him into deep waters, put the pressure on, he might be able to tire out Stockley.
We're going to find out this one. An amateur middleweight MMA fight, and it's brought to you by Gorilla Roofing. Based in Poole, Gorilla Roofing provide comprehensive roofing services to customers across Dorset. Stuart Davies in charge, touch of gloves, and Prokopczuk going to work on that jab. Oh, some good dirty boxing. Stockley going to work, but eats a right hand over the top of the guard. Oh, and he returns fire. Prokopczuk goes down. Both guys just looking to occupy the middle of this cage.
And that's with the Stockley with the bodybuilding background. He's got the power from lifting those weights. And we asked about the muscular endurance, but he's definitely got power. That connected beautifully. But he's got to set it up. He's got to make sure that he keeps the hands up in these exchanges.
Stockley and Prokopczuk not disappointing here in Bournemouth. Supreme Championships bringing you the action. Interesting tactics. It looks to me like Stockley is just really controlling with these power punches and dirty boxing, but Prokopczuk was keen to go into the clinch and actually initiate that close range.
Prokopczuk's taken a back step here now. He ate that right hand. He's being cautious on the back there with the back against the cage. Nice initiation from the clinch. It's just smart play by Prokopczuk.
Oh, it was for sure, Dean. Undoubtedly. Now, the big question is, does Stockley ever get an advantage now that he has some good grips here? It looks to me like Prokopczuk is trying to fish for double unders at the moment. But it's those early positions in the clinch where both fighters do lock up after what was a rather turbulent round there so far. You start to get some answers as to whether one or the other might be able to big brother.
This is when the cardio comes into play as well. The wrestling up against the cage, the defense, the takedown attempts. Beautiful work from Krystov in the top position as well. He's got to clear that overhook on the right arm, however.
And Stockley looking to hold on tight here. Does he go for a guillotine? Doesn't look to me like he maybe has the grips he would like. Nice. Prokopczuk able to find a way out of there. And again, you know, it's that huge amount of effort that both fighters put in from the dirty boxing to the initiation of the fight up against the fence there. Prokopczuk maybe at this point in the fight finally has what he was looking for from the start.
Stockley holding on here. Almost certainly he wants to stand up. I'd like to see him close his guard, put the legs together and hold on to the head to just force the referee to start this back to the feet. I mean, because we saw a tremendous transfer of power from Stockley with that right hand early on in the fight.
And, of course, worth noting, and this is amateur MMA where we're going to have shorter rounds, so it is a bit of a sprint. Nice scramble. Prokopczuk unable to maintain the position. Stockley gets back up. Prokopczuk driving for that double leg, flares the legs to the side. Stockley holding on to that guillotine, but perhaps in vain.
That's potentially what got him took down as well. He's looking for the guillotine. He's not addressing the underhooks. He's not stuffing the head. He's not defending the takedown. Although you can finish off of your back, it's not a great idea to hold onto that guillotine and further burn your arms out, Chris.
Well, Stockley going for that choke nonetheless. Prokopczuk driving forward here. Looking to snap that head down, really imposes will. I'm blown away at the amount of energy both guys have given so far in this fight. Stuart Davies calling an end. A few minutes in the book so far, but boy, was that fast-paced.
It was a great round. I mean, we've seen Stockley's power now, but will that start to fade as Krystov puts pressure on him? Krystov now has to work the grappling game, use the clinch, drag him down into cold waters, and look to drown him with endurance.
And the corner's going to work here as we work our way towards the second stanza. Stockley looks to have recovered. Krystov getting a talking to. If you're Prokopczuk, do you go in there and try to get the takedown right away given the success that you found so far?
Almost certainly, but he's got to set up with the hands. We've seen Stockley with some beautiful powers. He's got to keep, Krystov has got to keep Stockley nice and busy with the hand, high guard, and then go underneath and time that takedown.
Now the question is, at this point in your career, it is an early career kind of situation for both of these guys. Do you expect that level of complexity, i.e. not shooting naked?
Well, I mean, we've seen some of their punches. They're not technically the best, you know. And again, amateur mixed martial arts we're seeing the evolution of these fighters, but he's got to keep that level change nice and clean and keep the hands up nice and high if he's close range.
So the whole kind of offense to defense thing is something to watch out for in this round.
Yeah, there's the overhand right. Again, beautiful work from Krystov. He landed that overhand right, was clean, and he used that opportunity to gain the clinch and work for the takedown.
So as predicted, Stockley looking to maybe go out the back door. Good pressure again here from Krystov. Prokopczuk. Driving pressure. And these are some of the most brutal positions in MMA when you're fighting it out in the clinch like this. Maybe Stockley able to try to find a way out, but I feel like the forward pressure from Prokopczuk so far was pretty good with the underhook. Couldn't quite hold him there. Stockley looking for the 1-2.
Here's the big power punches from Stockley again. This is the way he wins this fight. He keeps distance, sprawls and brawls, get back to his feet. Oh, full mount here for Stockley now in a damaging position. What he's got to do here, Chris, is posture up and rain down punches.
And Stockley looking to go a little bit higher on the mount here. He's good and tight to the hips thus far, Dean. This is madness. Both guys just exchanging positions. Prokopczuk trying to walk up off the fence, find his way. Stockley staying with the position here.
Stockley a little bit off to that side there. This is going to prevent him from maintaining the back. He needs both of his heels on the inside of his opponent's hips to maintain a square position on the back. He might give up the bottom position. Here, Krystov is doing a good job of pulling the head around, making sure that he obtained this top position now. He's got to ultimately posture up and try and pass the guard here.
Stockley thinking about maybe trying to bridge. Yes. Can he get up to his knees? This is wild stuff. I mean, I'm blown away at the pace both guys have put on each other here. Front headlock position again for Stockley. Falling back. But again, I feel like it's the old adage. You want to tap that guy before you flop on a guillotine. You really want to know it's locked up and then mind the details of being able to lock in something, i.e. with the leg control. A front headlock here could be useful to get back up to your feet, but perhaps not much more.
To threaten the guillotine as well prevents the takedown, but the key, like you said, is the footwork. You've got to maintain control of the body to finish the guillotine. There's a 10-finger go-go choke potentially as well, but you've got to argue the point here that Stockley wants to get up off the cage, and holding onto the head when he needs his arms free are going to prevent that.
So nice, again, shoulder pressure here. Just that heavy sprawl from Krystov Prokopczuk. You know, both guys coming in very nicely in the middleweight division. I mean, you wouldn't hardly believe it, but Stockley used to weigh a great deal more, I believe in the region of 120 kilos, a former bodybuilder. So a guy who has an incredible life story to be able to come in and train for MMA and make a total change in diet and training and conditioning. I mean, going from the kind of stuff you do in, you know, more strongman training to like CrossFit, it's a drastic shift. And maybe that starts to take a little bit of an effect here because now 6 minutes of action deep.
Just going to get a little break from a low blow here. Stockley's going to get a warning for that. Just making sure that the knees go to the body clean. A little bit of blood from the nose of Krystov, but he's going to get time to recover here.
Yeah, nearly a full 2 minutes in the books here, and perhaps a welcome moment of respite for both athletes after that toss and tussle, because that was just, well, it would seem like they were fighting in a washing machine at, you know, spin factor 1200.
It's a very interesting fight and a very well matched fight as well. These two have great credentials in striking, lots of power, of course, from Stockley, but Krystov has a great wrestling game, and he's breathing quite heavy in the corner. Now, you've got to attribute this to his nose. The fact that his nose potentially could be broken, there's blood in there, it makes it a lot harder for him to gain that oxygen debt and breathe more easily.
Yeah, no doubt. Probably from the first exchange in the first round, right?
Yeah, I mean, excellent power from Stockley. This is what he's got to do. He's got to keep his back off the cage, however.
And that'll do it. 2 rounds deep. Stockley and Prokopczuk. We'll see a third round. I must admit, looking at this fight, Dean, from the very beginning, I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to see a third round between these two. But, you know, I'm impressed. The conditioning of Prokopczuk may be the difference here.
That was the question on my lips as well. Can Stockley now make the transition from bodybuilding to fighting? The muscular endurance is very important, and I'd say he has. And you mentioned that he was a lot heavier. I believe training correctly for mixed martial arts has potentially made him lose that weight. You know, it's a lot more high intensity to work out the muscular endurance, the technique, the wrestling, the boxing. So I think that's probably what's brought him down. And I would say that he's done the right things. And at this point in time, if we look at the corner cam here, he doesn't seem to be too tired. You know, he's not sat down. He's got his hands on his coach's arms. He's opening up his lungs to breathe more easily. And looking at conversely, Krystov is leant over. He's kind of leaning on his leg. You could argue here that Krystov might be the more tired fighter.
I got this fight 19-19. I feel like Stockley, with the big connections and the meaningful, impactful shots in the first round, I feel like Prokopczuk has come back here in the second. 19-19, what do you feel?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that here. It could come down to this round. We've got to see Stockley use that power. He's got to use the distance here and keep his back off the cage. And Krystov doing what he's supposed to do is close that distance and work for the takedown.
So Prokopczuk here driving forward, Stockley with an over-under, fighting for that left underhook. And you can just see that the pace has been pushed and pushed and pushed. Good heavy sprawl here from Stockley. Nice to pull his hips back. I feel like that's been one of the things that we've seen between these two. And Stockley going what may be actually an opportunity for like a scissor choke here. Doesn't have an arm trapped. That's a classic Eric Paulson CSW move, man.
Well, he held onto the body, though, in that position when he was on the sprawl. He should be heavy with his hips. He held onto the body and allowed Krystov to switch. And now we're going to see Krystov control the top position. Beautiful wrestling from Krystov. But he's got to try and secure a position here and prevent the back. Side controls his friend in this position. He's got to control the head and the arm and stay nice and heavy with his chest. Potentially could look to work to mount, however, as well.
Yeah, doing a good job of following the hips and the shoulders was Prokopczuk, but a regard here on tap from Stockley. Impressive to see these guys put on this pace for this much of the fight. Stockley, again, maybe working for a forced stand-up by breaking the posture here.
Stockley with a nice overhook, potential to sweep here if he can get that left butterfly hook in. At this point in time, it serves him to hold on or potentially look for sweeps to get the top position. And again, we're looking at these two fighters. They've been at a great pace back and forth, constant pressure, constant switch of positions. This might be the position now where they try and regain some of that breath back, holding on in the guard. For both athletes now, as this is the time to regain some of that oxygen debt.
And Stockley looking again to create some space and hip out, shrimp out. I'm really impressed with the grips as well. I mean, there have been some mistakes and so on made in these transitions, which has allowed one guy to gain an advantage here. But it's great to see the awareness in the MMA game of two relatively novice fighters going out there and making the correct decisions under pressure. It's just a real well-matched fight.
Stockley throwing up the head and arm triangle potentially. He's got to get that right arm across the side of the face of Krystov to finish that. He can submit off of his back for sure with that position, but he's got to secure the arm.
Stockley looking to close that guard, break the posture. Krystov walking forward on the toes, driving. Short punches here with the left hand. Not long in this fight to go at the O2 in Bournemouth tonight. Supreme Championships bringing you the best. And Stuart Davies steps in as Prokopczuk and Stockley, seemingly defying the odds, have gone the distance in this fight.
Yeah, and again, like I said to you, that position they were regaining their oxygen debt as a viable, some nice swinging punches here. Uppercuts through the middle of Stockley, but he finds himself with his back against the cage.
Wow, we do go to the end. Insane. Absolutely insane. I didn't think we'd see it, Dean, but a great fight, a fantastic fight. It's going to come down to that last round, and I feel it's going to be close on the scorecards, but I do feel that there could be the edge for Prokopczuk.
Yeah, Krystov wrestled great. He got hurt in that first round, so you could argue the first round definitely went to Stockley. But 2 and 3, I believe, he should get the nod from the judges. He fought hard, he fought valiantly. His wrestling was the key in this fight, Chris.
In the corners, of course, reassuring their fighters. I believe, it's going to be a close fight. Prokopczuk looks confident here. Stockley, again, had an amazing start. He probably did the most damage of that fight, particularly if you factor in the way that he dropped Prokopczuk, found success with the dirty boxing in the first frame. But maybe it did come, as we questioned at the beginning, down to cardio and endurance. One thing that can't be questioned, though, is the will between both guys because, hey, they were in it to win it until the very end.
Both definitely had heart, but we go to a judge's decision to render the victor of this fight here.
And as the announcements come in here at ringside at the O2 Academy in Bournemouth, it'll be a split decision for your winner. Amateur MMA middleweight bout, Krystov Prokopczuk getting it done here at Supreme Championships. Great show of sportsmanship again. It's been awesome to see all night between all the athletes here. Tremendous performance. And you know what? A lot of pressure under both guys, I think. Dean, an enticing matchup, a thrilling, full 9 minutes of action.
Huge pressure for Krystov, considering he was hurt early on in the fight in the first round, but he used his wrestling, he closed the distance, he used the cage as his friend as well to get the takedown.
And there you have it, Krystov Prokopczuk over Dan Stockley via split decision at Supreme Championships.